Hello everyone, welcome to the Martial Arts of Sales. I'm working on a series of videos from the initial call all the way to the closing of the call. It's going to include follow-up calls. It's going to include the script, breaking down the script, the 5 major objections that you get, and the 5 rebuttals that you need to use to diffuse those objections. And bottom line is being able to build win-win situations between you and the customer during the sales process. So keep an eye on that. It's coming soon. I would say about 30, 60 days. I'm finalizing the details on it. But it's exciting. I'm excited about it. And I hope you enjoy it when you do see it. But what I want to talk about today is I have 3 secrets that I've used over 30 years on how to take leads and convert them into sales or closing deals. These 3 secrets are absolutely phenomenal. They work if you work it and you implement it and you use them. Okay? So, what are the 3 secrets to closing and converting more deals? The first one is I call the opening of the initial phone call. Okay? And this applies to social media. I've been calling a lot of people that follow me on social media. I've been doing a lot of calls on that because I wanted to make sure that what I'm teaching, what I'm showing actually works on social media as well, and it does. The principles still apply. The initial call, what they call a call to action, is the most critical initial call to action you can take. Why? Especially if you're cold calling and no one knows who you are. You have 1/10 of a second to engage them, right? So the purpose of the initial call is you set the tone, how the relationship or how the conversation is going to go. That's number 1. Number 2, you also build the foundation on how this conversation is going to go, how the relationship is going to end up going. But you're also building trust and you're building value. It's called perceived value. We all have that in the very beginning, right? We all have a perception. So it's important that your initial perception is valuable to the consumer. Why? Because don't forget that you are a consumer as well, not just a business owner. So just think about that. And if you do the initial call right, or the initial call to action, then you go to number 2, you transition to what I call the body of the phone call. Here's what the body should accomplish. And I've mentioned this in my previous videos, but I'm going to go a little more in detail. The body, I call it the meat and potatoes, or peeling the onion. That's where you go from perceived value. Hopefully at that point, you're increasing your value to the customer. There's many ways to do that. I call it the art of storytelling. You understand their problem. You have the solution. You understand the industry. You can speak their language. You can communicate your message. Where, hey, I know you have a problem. Here's the solution. That's why I'm valuable. This is where you get to know whether they need it or want it. In other words, there's only 2 ways people buy. They either need something or they want something, right? If they need it, it's a harder sale because there's no emotions attached to it. If they want it, it's an easier sale because it's emotional. They want to take action on that emotion. Does that make sense? So you got to get them from needing it to wanting it. And that's skills. That's the art of storytelling. In the body of the call is also important how you deal with objections. You have to be able to determine and understand the difference between being an objection or a buying question or a buying statement. And here's why that's important. In my experience, 90% of the sales either take place or actually get solidified in the body of the call, or you wind up losing that sale in the body of the call. That's like being on stage. It's showtime. It really is. So hopefully at that point, you're increasing your value to the customer. Then the third one is you transition from the body of the call to what I call the results or the outcome of the call. Basically, you're closing the sale, or you're converting the lead into a sale. Some people like using the word deal. Some people like using the word sale. It's the same thing. Okay? So, again, results and outcome. What are the results? Does that mean that they buy from you right away? Not necessarily. Sometimes there has to be a follow call. But by closing the deal at this point, getting the result, what that means is this. If they're ready to buy it and you did it right, they'll give you a credit card, or they may do a wire transfer, whatever the case may be, whatever vehicle they want to use. And sometimes that does happen on a one-call close. But typically for me, closing at that point, meaning is I build enough value, I build enough of bond and relationship that when they go home after this call, they feel good about it. They're ready to do it. There's no buyer's remorse. They don't start to justify anything. They start to wanting to own that. That's the key to that. You're going to want them to own the results or the outcome of the call. Okay? So if you're valuable and they know it and you let them see it and they feel it, when you do the follow-up call, a high percent of them will be expecting your call, will receive your call, and you can close the deal at that point. But nothing happens unless you tie up the deal at the end. That's important. So closing the deal, getting the outcome of the deal, doesn't always mean that they're giving you a credit card on the initial call. That does happen, depending on yourself, depending who you are as a salesperson, depending on the product that you have, depending on the price point. So there's a lot of elements. But at the end of the day, is you want to tie the call down where it's about 95% solidified. So when you do the follow call, they're ready to do business. Does that make sense? Okay. So just to recap, is my 3 secrets to closing and converting leads into deals or to sales. Number 1 is opening of the initial call. Very important. Again, you have a perceived value. You're building the trust. You're building the foundation. You're developing the relationship. You're setting the tone for the relationship. Number 2 is you transition to the body of the call. This is the art of storytelling. This is where hopefully you're increasing your value. You're dealing with objections. You're responding to them. You're solving the problem. You're showing them their problem. You're showing them the solution to that. And your value increases. And if you do it right, 90 to 95% of the deal will be solidified at that point, or you'll lose it at that point. It's that simple. Then the third one is the results or the outcome of the call, basically closing the sale. Again, I want to be clear. It's not always getting the credit card or the wire transfer right away because it's the initial call, but it's really solidifying that when you do the follow-up call, guess what? They're waiting for you, they're answering the call, and you're ready to do some business. So I want to thank everyone for being part of the martial arts of sales. I really hope this has been helpful. If you watch the video on YouTube, smash the like button, share with others, and do subscribe. Till we speak again, I say goodbye for now. Thank you for being part of the martial arts of sales. Have a great day. Bye.